Welcome to another Cardano update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our daily Discord updates. Also check out the gold memberships if you want access to all of these videos. And let's look at Cardano. As you can see, it's going down right now and we got exactly to my 50% support level. And we are getting a reaction to that support level, as you can see, but in my opinion we are probably gonna go lower, and this move to the downside so far has been pretty impulsive, which leads me to believe that we could even test the 0.618, and we might do that by the time you see this video. So if we do not manage to hold above 84.3 cents, there's gonna be one last support level, which is not really bullish because it's the 0.786. But if we manage to stay above 81.6 cents, there's still a possibility that we get a reversal after that, and you have to know that on the 4-hour RSI, getting to, let's say, these lows right here would put us in the oversold territory right here. And this could be very good because the last time something like that happened was down here when we tested the bull market support band and when Cardano was at 68 cents, and before that it was down here when we were at 50 cents. So getting oversold would be good, and we could use that as a test of the bull market support band. But you have to understand, and I did not mention this yesterday and people got confused, but this could easily turn into a much bigger ABC structure, because if this right here was the ABC, I said this a couple of days ago, but the B wave was very bad looking, and this is not really an ABC for the B wave, and well, this means that it's probably not the B wave of the second wave move down, and instead maybe it's actually the, let's say, third wave of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the A wave, and then this means this right here, this move to the upside was an ABC, and right now we're about to go down into a 5-wave move, which could put us at, let's say, the 50% support level right here, the much bigger 50% support level at 72.2 cents to get another low and also test the 200-day moving average before continuing with the third wave. So even if something like this happens, it's not gonna be too bad in my opinion, and this was our main scenario for the last couple of weeks. So if we do not manage to get a reversal right now, and if we do not manage to break above the B wave high right there, the supposed B wave high at 96.4 cents, then we are probably going lower and we could get to the oversold territory first before we get a reversal, and you have to be aware of that. And other than that, I want to look at the daily chart for a second. There's a bearish indicator here and we have not closed the wick so far, so there's still some time to get a reversal right now, but you have to know that on the RSI right there, we are currently below the moving average, and if we close like that, it could be an indicator that we might start going down, because that's how corrections usually start. That's how it started, for example, in this area, and that's how it started around here. So getting above it and staying above it could be bullish, and today is going to be very important, because if we close above it, like I said, that could give us a reason to start the much bigger third wave, but if we close below it, it's probably going to mean that the much bigger support level is going to be tested, which again is not really bearish. So no matter which scenario plays out, we're still doing pretty fine. And I want to talk about something else on the chart. So if you look at what we have right here, this says 78 days. And why does it say 78 days? Because right here, last year, it took 78 days to go up after we had a cross on the bull market support band. And if we do the exact same thing in this year, 78 days from the cross right here in July would put us exactly, let's say, on August 1st. And like I said, we could get another low before that, and by the time we get another low, it could already be August 1st, which means we might go down for the next couple of weeks and then finally get a reversal and start a much bigger third wave over there. Of course, we do not have to do exactly what we did last year, and maybe you could say we are in this scenario right here instead. In 2023, as you can see, it only took like a month to get a, reversal to the upside after the cross. So that's what we could be doing, but you have to be aware of the fact that Ethereum right now is still not able to get above previous highs. As you can see, it's still below the third wave high, and this could mean it's just gonna turn into a much bigger ABC, and the fourth wave move down might get another low. To confirm that something like this is about to happen, what we need to do is to break below the moving average right there on the daily RSI, and if we close below it, it's gonna be a sign that we are probably going to test the trend line right here before we continue, which would also be good because that could give us a fourth wave move down, and then after that we could focus on the fifth. So I still believe that the next couple of months are going to be bullish, but in the short term I'm expecting a correction, and Bitcoin dominance right now, as you can see, it's finally starting to go up. Of course, it's still in a downtrend, but there is always the possibility that we go to the bull market support band here to test it like we did in the last couple of cycles before the altcoin season. And if this happens, it would make sense because we are also expecting Bitcoin to drop, and when Bitcoin drops, that's when the altcoins usually go down quite a lot, including Ethereum. So if Bitcoin gets to the 200-day moving average to test it, which was also, a possibility, the altcoins could get a major hit during that time, and Cardano could drop in the support level. And when we do this, after we test that moving average, we could then bounce and get new all-time highs. But during this time, when we get the drop, that's when we could get a Bitcoin dominance, move to the upside. And that's still gonna be fine in my eyes, so we'll see how this plays out. And I have to mention that on the weekly chart, on the ADA chart, we are still above that moving average, so we are still fine here. But if we drop below it and if we close below it, we could maybe get something like we got last year. As you can see here, we were above it for a couple of weeks and we actually slightly closed below it for a week, but then the following week we got this pump over here. So this could be what we are doing right now. So closing below it would not necessarily mean that we're gonna get another low right here. I don't think we're gonna go back to 50 cents by any means. So I think this 1-2 setup will probably hold, and after that we're still expecting Cardano to get in this region for the much bigger third wave of the third wave. And as I mentioned many times already, the much bigger third wave could be completed right here because maybe it's gonna be an ABC structure, and it would make sense because we also need a 4 and a 5, and if we want to get a 4 and a 5, we don't really have time for the main third wave to get 5 waves up, because that's already gonna put us in, like, let's say January. So we don't really expect Cardano to get a reversal after January. I think Cardano will probably top around January because that's when I'm expecting Bitcoin dominance to be at cycle lows. So I think what we're doing right now is we're trying to complete the third wave, then we're gonna get a fourth wave move down, and the fifth wave move up should put us at $5. But you should already know that because I've been saying that for the last couple of months, even a year at this point, maybe a year and a half. So yeah, that's all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Again, check out the gold memberships if you want access to all of these videos, and check out the other memberships as well if you want access to the charts and if you want access to the daily Discord updates. Here we have a bunch of channels, and also the general channel is a very important channel because many people tell their opinions right there, and sometimes they're actually pretty good opinions. So if you want, access to other traders, definitely check out the memberships, and I will see you in the next one.